Today marks the official start of spring, though you'd be forgiven if you didn't know it from the frost on your car this morning. And with cheaper flights, discounted hotel rooms, milder weather than the peak summer and winter months, spring is also one of the best times to travel. But with great travel comes great responsibility. Responsibility to your fellow travelers, that is, and according to our resident expert, a lot of us haven't quite grasped the basics of how to behave at the airport. So, Boston Globe travel writer Christopher Mueller spelled it all out in a recent piece called Avoid Gate Lice and Wear Your Headphones, the Do's and Don'ts of Airport Etiquette. He joins me now. How are you, Christopher?
I'm well. How about you?
That's good. Let's get to the etiquette in a minute. I want to talk about some travel things first. Virtually all of us have done the Boston-New York corridor. I've done, I assume you have, plane, train,
yes,
limo liner, $10 bus with live chicken in the back. Have you had that experience with a hibachi?
Mine was a goat. Okay, same deal.
Same sort of thing. So there's now a Tesla service?
Yeah.
Elon Musk's service. Well, it's not him, but a Tesla.
It would be great if he was driving.
Boston
for sure.
to New York. How did it rate? How did it do?
So I took it a couple of weeks ago, and I give it a high rating. I think a lot of people were a little skeptical about you're in a car, you're
Close
in an
quarters,
SUV with other passengers you don't know. It's a $99 trip. It takes about 4.5 hours. So you're not sort of beholden to Amtrak's schedule, which is sometimes gets thrown off with the Northeast Regional. It's a quiet ride. It's sort of like I had never been in a Tesla before. So for me, I was like kid in a candy store. There's
Do you
like
have to
this
talk to the person
panel.
next to you or no?
Well, you probably wouldn't, or you would berate them about something.
Is it expected? I mean, that's what gives me like hives thinking about it.
Well, I think of it as like Uber pool. You know, like people in Uber pool don't really talk to each other unless they're super drunk. In this case, they give you, and I've never done that.
No.
In this case, they give you noise-canceling headphones and like a neck pillow, so you could pretend to be sleeping. Or...
So, if you had a rate, I mean, what's number one? If you can only do one mode of transportation. I mean, I'm Amtrak, big time. How about you?
I think I would probably be Amtrak as well, just because it's easier to work, less chance of getting car sick, and most importantly, you can get up, walk around, and use the washroom whenever you need to.
Well, that's something. How do you go to the bathroom in the Tesla? Or not in the Tesla, that's a problem.
They hand you a bottle.
They do?
They tell you to go back. And I
bring my bottle with me, actually, so it's not really an
attached.
issue.
They have a rest area stop in Connecticut.
One stop? I don't think I'll be doing Tesla. So let's go from a place I've been a million times to two places I've never been. And you read about Cuba. I am one of the many you were writing to when you wrote about Cuba. You know, what Obama doeth, Trump undoeth. And I assumed, and I thought I had read this, that with Trump, individuals can't travel from the U.S. to Cuba anymore. You got to be on a tour, on a cruise or something. That was wrong, correct?
You were wrong.
Okay.
Now individuals can. I guess they always could, but you have to sneak around. You know, there's 12 categories that people can travel to Cuba under.
U.S. people.
U.S., exactly. Yeah. And one of them that was popular when Obama sort of lifted the need to have to obtain a license to travel there was called people to people, which was a very vague meaning if you interacted with people, you were okay. Now people are using a category called support for the Cuban people, which essentially means you're going and helping people in Cuba somehow financially.
How do you prove that you're doing it? What does that mean?
You have to make a schedule of 6 to 8 hours a day in which let's say you're taking dance lessons. You've hired a car to take you around.
But not with the government, I'm guessing. Is that right?
Not with the government, exactly, because you're supporting the people. So when you go also, you can't stay in a hotel that's military owned. You can't stay in like a chain. Essentially means you can't have a beach vacation.
But a mere mortal could pull this off. You don't need to be a travel writer to do that.
Yeah, no, a mere mortal.
Okay,
I mean, it helps if you're a travel writer.
I understand that it helps. Let's go to the Azores. Well, you went to the Azores, which I've been wanting to go to. I'm reading your piece, and with all due respect, you say it's not Iceland. Well, I wasn't trying to read about Iceland. You say it's not Hawaii. I know it's not Hawaii. It's the Azores. So what is it? And you also, I thought it was a little unfair because your whole piece is how you're essentially adopted by a family, and they take care of you for the whole week. So
Yeah.
that's not going to happen to everybody else. So,
No, but if you have like a great personality like I do, and you
but
go out
was
and
that not? I mean, so how were the Azores? Were it not for this wonderful family that embraced you?
absolutely beautiful, and I hope that came through in the piece.
Well, it did. Even though the family thing was odd, I have to say, it was a little strange.
They are wonderful people. Maybe you've just never had a
Wonderful
family
people
reunion.
embrace me. Yes, I know.
Yes,
what you
it
mean.
happens. That's
It's a
why we have a
strange
little
thing.
friction.
Apparently.
But wonderful people
So
embrace
how
me.
are the Azores?
The Azores are, it's like an amazing subtropical climate. There's 9 islands, and it's a volcanic island. So I was in São Miguel, which is the largest of the 9. And so when I say it's a volcanic island, it means there are these crater lakes that you can see from high vantage points. And you just look out, and it's sweeping green. And I was there in February, and, you know, not everything was blooming, but the grass was green, the trees
Still
are...
affordable?
Right now, still affordable.
Direct flights from Boston?
Direct from Boston.
Okay, let's get back to where we started, this etiquette thing, which I thought was very valuable, I have to say. And there are a couple of highlights. You listed like 10 etiquette things
Yes.
with great graphics. Let's start with this. Don't use the airport as a yoga studio. What did you mean exactly by
Well,
that?
I mean, I don't know if you've seen this. I've seen this many times waiting for a plane. You see people doing like weird exercises
Yeah, actually,
and stretches. And, you know, I understand we're going to be on a plane for a long time, but if you need to do that, maybe do it before you get to the
That's a very
airport
good
instead
point.
of doing like your Cobra pose. And,
Now,
yeah.
the next thing you warned against, every single person I know does, which is don't be a baggage belt blocker.
Yes.
Who is not a well, first of all, what does baggage belt blocking entail?
Well, you know, the baggage comes out, you know, after when you get back from your flight. There's one area on the belt where it drops. And everybody, for some reason, thinks that's the only place they can go to.
I thought it was the only place.
But you know, it circles around.
Oh, it does.
So you could stand back and wait for it to come to you as opposed to sort of elbowing your way in. Or the other thing people do is they'll lean in to see it come as opposed to just standing, because when they lean in, you also can't see around.
So those are all good points. You know, one point you left out, I don't mean to be critical, the single most important rule, which I've discussed with you on and off the air, why did you have do not recline your seat when there's somebody 6'5" tall sitting behind? Isn't that one of the most egregious violations, sort of a passenger to passenger kind of thing?
Yes, I didn't have it because this is airport etiquette.
Oops, sorry.
No, that's okay.
Are you going to do an airplane etiquette thing?
I have done, but I feel like I need to do another round because a lot of people were sending me comments like, you need to talk about carry-on luggage, you need to talk about reclining. I'm like, all right, I'm in it to do this again. People
We're waiting
love
for it. Christopher Mueller, it's great to see you. Thanks so much.
Great to see you as
Travel
well.
writer
Thank you.
extraordinaire from the Boston Globe.